Let's go to Isaiah the 59th chapter. Now he gave, like I said, he gave Jacob the spiritual wealth as well as earthly wealth too. Let's go to Isaiah the 59th chapter. Isaiah 59. Say this one thing, I mean, that's all you do is listen and you'll see, nobody tops our teaching. Nobody. I'm talking about the Israelites that know that they are the Israelites. Nobody out teaches us. Nobody understands this Bible more than us. Nobody. I don't care if you call yourself a Jew, or Ishmaelite, I don't care what you calling yourself. Nobody out teaches us when it comes to the Bible. You know why? Go to Isaiah 59. Isaiah 59, then we're going to pick up at verse 20. Isaiah 59 and 20. Go ahead and read that.
And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob.
In Jacob. Go ahead and read.
Saith the Lord. As for me, this is my covenant with them, saith the Lord.
Now listen, now he says, as for me, this is my covenant with them. Who is this them? That's Israel, right? Look at what he's saying. Go ahead.
My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth.
My spirit which is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth,
shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, saith the Lord, from henceforth and forever.
See, can't nobody take that away from us. That is a covenant that God has with the children of Israel. So now, that one that's over there calling himself a Jew, is that the Israelite? Or are we the Israelites? But I know one thing though, he can't teach this Bible like we can. And you see, that's what's got the whole world shooken up right now. Even black people that don't know that they're Israelites, they can't understand how it is that we don't follow Roman Christianity. How is it that y'all understand this Bible, but y'all ain't following Roman Christianity? And that's what the Kemetic community is upset about when it comes to the Israelites. They can't figure it out. How is it that y'all know this book, but y'all not following this Roman Christianity, that Sunday stuff? How is it that y'all know this? Because God had put his word in our mouths for everlasting covenant. That's why. That's why we understand this Bible more than Esau, the one that called himself a Jew. That's how we understand this Bible more than the Caucasian, the one that we call white. And I'm not bragging or none of that. But that's the way it is, though, ain't it? We are different from everybody else. We know that they had theologians giving you this and giving you that. But we don't follow after no theologians, do we? Let's go now. Let's go to Revelations 2 and 9. I know this is going to offend somebody right here. Revelations 2 and 9. But that's not my intention. My intentions are to show you the sons of Abraham and the fulfillment of prophecy. Amen. Revelations 2 and 9. Revelations 2 and 9. Go ahead and read it.
I know thy works.
See, excuse me for a minute. If the world would pay attention to what we are saying, then they would understand this book. And a lot of people will be saved. A lot of people will be saved. Revelation 2 and 9. Go ahead and read it.
I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich.
Go ahead.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
They saying now, do you see, besides us, and you got a small majority of us, even in Africa, although they call themselves Israelites, they don't particularly call themselves Jews, they call themselves Israelites. In Africa, a small majority of who does the world know to be the Jews? The ones that look white, with the long curls, with the black suits on, with the black hats on. Everybody knows, the world knows them to be the Jews, don't they? But look at what he said right here in the first century. Look at what John is saying. He said, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Let's go now. We're going to look at a book. We're going to look at a book called, did I bring it? I didn't bring it. I knew I was going to forget it. But I was going to show you in this book, it's called Judaism, the World Book Encyclopedia. It was showing you that the ones that call themselves Jews, they don't believe in Jesus. They do not believe in Jesus. But this is a picture right here. We can show this. Go ahead and show that. Now, this right here are the Jews 2,000 years in Europe. So now but they look white though, don't they? These people don't look black. They look white. And it says the Jews in Europe, 2,000 years of history. Now, so you ask yourself, okay, these people that's in Europe call themselves Jews. If they not the Jews, then who are they then? Who are they? Well, we're going to show you. He already told you, say they the synagogue. They call themselves Jews, and the world know these people as Jews, but the Bible calls them the synagogue of Satan. So now what you going to do with this? Because don't nobody really know us as Jews. The world know them as Jews. So what are you going to do with this? And these people right here are fulfilling prophecy. I'm going to show you. They fulfilling prophecy. Let's go now. Let's go to, man, I sure hate that I forgot that book. Let's go to Psalms, the 83rd chapter. Psalms 83. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Psalms 83 and 1. That's all right. I'll catch you on the next rip. Psalms 83 and 1. And then we're going to show you a video coming up. Psalms 83 and 1. And look at what the Lord had the psalmist to write right here. Go ahead and read that.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
Stop right there. He say, thy enemies make a tumult. Now these people are the enemy of the Lord God of Israel. Go ahead and read.
And they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
Oh, they hate the Lord too? Go ahead and read.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
The hidden ones? Who are the hidden ones? Here we are. Here we are. Yo, we the hidden ones. Why? Because everybody knows those light-skinned people as the Jews. They don't reckon us as no Jews. They don't recognize us as Jews. You know what they recognize? Well, go ahead and read.
Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Do you see any black people saying this? They call themselves Edomites saying this? You don't see no black, you ain't heard nowhere in history no black people call themselves Edomites saying, come on, let us cut them off from being a nation. Go ahead and read.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom.
Stop right there. You see who at the top of the list? Edom. But you don't see no black people call themselves Edomites saying, come on, let's cut the children of Israel off from being a nation. You don't see that. Who else?
And the Ishmaelites.
Who are the Ishmaelites? That's the Arabs. You don't see no black Arabs saying, look, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. You don't see that. You see the ones that over there now in the Middle East that look white. One is called the Arab and the other one is called the Jews. And they are the ones who conspired against the children of Israel. And I'm going to show you that. Go ahead and read.
Of Moab and the Hagarim.
Now they still over there. Moab for sure. Go ahead and read.
Verse 7. Gebal and Ammon.
Now Ammon, they still over there too. Go ahead.
And Amalek, the Philistine, with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Now, so the main two corporates though is who? Edom and Ishmael. And I'm going to show you, that's the same ones that's sitting over there in the Middle East now. One called himself a Jew, and the other one called himself an Arab. Let's go now. We're going to look at a video right here. Because they trying to, brothers, not only brothers, but now you got other people saying this too, that the Arabs are the Edomites. Can we get somebody to get the lights?
Right.
God is against the Islam, the Edomites, the Arab world.
I'll tell you what, stop it for 1 minute. Stop it for 1 minute. Now, we're going to show you that this is how you speak in tongues. This is how you speak in tongues. You got the guy standing there speaking his language and the other guy interpreting. This guy, go ahead and put the camera on. This guy is speaking a language, and this guy is interpreting a language that he's speaking in English. And that's a good example of speaking in tongues. Okay, go ahead and run that video again.
The Islam, the Edomites, the Arab world.
See that? Islam, the Arab world, the Edomites.
Pentru că încă o dată, din Edom și din Ismael,
because again, from Edom and Ishmael,
s-a născut lumea arabă,
we have the Arab world,
care este lumea islamică de astăzi, în cea mai mare parte.
Which is the majority of the Islamic world today.
În timpul împărăției de 1000 de ani,
during the millennial kingdom,
Israel va fi puterea întregului pământ.
Israel will be the power of all the earth.
Lumea arabă, lumea islamică,
and the Arab world, the Islamic world,
în timpul împărăției de 1000 de ani,
during the millennial kingdom,
va avea următorul destin.
Will have the following destiny. The millennial kingdom, Lebanon, will no longer exist as a separate nation.
Irakul,
Iraq,
sau Babilon,
or Babylon,
și Edomul,
and Edom,
partea de sud a Iordaniei,
the southern part of Jordan.
În timpul mileniului vor fi două puncte speciale pe pământ.
During the millennium, there will be two special locations on the earth,
care nu vor fi locuite de oameni,
which will not have any inhabitants.
Deci în timpul împărăției de 1000 de ani, sudul Irakului de astăzi, care cuprinde Babilon, de la Babilon în jos.
So during the millennial kingdom, this southern part of Iraq, Babylon, from Baghdad down,
și sudul Iordaniei, unde a fost Edom,
and the south of Jordan, which is where Edom was,
vor fi arse,
will be burnt.
Vor fi un foc continuu.
They will be constantly on fire.
Literal, foc continuu.
Literally, there will constantly be a fire there.
Un fum continuu în tot timpul mileniului va ieși din aceste locuri.
A smoke that will rise out of these two locations throughout the whole millennial kingdom.
Și este foarte posibil.
And it's very possible
că timp de 1000 de ani,
that for 1000 years,
Edomul și sudul Irakului,
that Edom and the south of Iraq,
vor sluji ca închisore pentru demoni.
That they might serve as prisons for demons.
Ezechiel 35 cu 6 la 9.
Ezekiel 35, 36 through 9.
Ieremia 49 cu 7 la 13.
Jeremiah 47, 7 through 13.
Isaia 34 cu 8 la 15.
Isaiah 34, 1 through 15.
Isaia 13 cu 20 la 22.
Isaiah 13, 20 through 22.
Obadea 5 la 21.
Obadiah 5 through 21.
Iordania,
Jordan,
în timpul mileniului,
during the millennial kingdom,
deci va pierde sudul, care este Edomul.
Of course, it will lose its southern part, which is Edom.
Iar partea de mijloc, care se numește Moab,
but the middle part, which is called Moab,
va fi nimicită prin război de către Israel.
It will be destroyed in a war with Israel.
Sigur, se întâmplă înainte de mileniu.
Of course, this happens before the millennium.
Și rămășița care rămâne din această parte de mijloc a Iordaniei,
and the remnant of the middle of Jordan,
va fi îngăduită să formeze un regat.
It's not popular to hear this today,
pentru că nu este corect politic.
Because it's not politically correct.
Arabia Saudită va fi nimicită cu desăvârșire.
Saudi Arabia will be completely destroyed.
În războiul acesta din Psalmul 83.
In this war that's mentioned in Psalm 83.
Și nu va mai avea nici o rămășiță care să rămână în mileniu.
And they will not have any remnants that survive into the millennial kingdom.
Nu uitați că în Arabia Saudită este ceea ce am putea numi scriptural unul din locurile unde este scaunul de domnie al Satanei.
Don't forget that in Saudi Arabia we have what we could call biblically one of the thrones of Satan. Mecca.
Cunoașteți lucrul acesta.
You know this.
Iranul,
Iran,
care e marea problemă contemporană,
which is causing great problems today,
va fi nimicit în parte în războiul cu care va veni împotriva lui Israel,
will be partially destroyed in the war that they start against
împreună cu
Israel,
prietenul dumneavoastră Gog.
together with your friend Gog.
Ținutul Arabiei Saudite va fi nimicit și nelocuibil.
Saudi Arabia will be destroyed and will be unlivable.
Edomul sau sudul Iordaniei
Edom or the south of Jordan,
și Babilonul sau sudul Irakului,
and Babylon or the south of Iraq,
probabil datorită conținutului imens de petrol care este în aceste locuri,
maybe even also because of the immense amount of oil that's there,
va fi făcut de Domnul Iisus Hristos să ardă continuu pentru 1000 de ani.
will be made by the Lord to burn continuously for 1,000 years.
Și va fi nelocuibil.
And it will be unlivable.
Iar profeții spun că aici va locui numai bufnița,
And the prophets say that just the owls will live there,
câinii și caprele sălbatice.
dogs and wild goats. Esau changed the God of his fathers with a foreign god.
În loc să se închine Dumnezeului lui Avram și lui Isaac,
Instead of worshiping the God of Abraham and Isaac,
l-a ales pe Allah,
he chose Allah,
adică zeul lună, cum vă spuneam,
or the God of the moon,
și în felul acesta a devenit un idolatru.
and in this way he became an idolater.
Pentru că în spatele zeului lună este diavolul, este Satan.
Because behind this God of the moon is Satan, the devil.
Saudi Arabia is the font of all evil, and let me explain how the record supports my point of view.
Okay, we're gonna get back to the lesson. Okay, so now, not only do you have Israelites saying that, get the light please. Not only do you have Israelites saying this now, that the Arabs are the Edomites, now you got foreigners saying that the Arabs are the Edomites. And he really tried to break it down too, didn't he? But he didn't have a clue what he was talking about. And modern day Moab, that's the Ammonites, not not Moab. The Ammonites is modern day Jordan, not the Moabites. Then he said something about it's going to burn forever. The southern part of Jordan is going to burn forever, and Saudi Arabia is going to burn forever. You don't see none of this in the Bible. You know, people just make stuff up, trying to sound wise. And I always say, just stick with what the book says, man, because you can't find none of this in the Bible. Neither can you find that the Arabs are the Edomites. Now, let's go now. We're going to, because we're going to break this down a little bit for you. First, let's go to Matthew, the 2nd chapter. Matthew 2. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Matthew 2 and 1. Matthew 2 and 1. People just make all type of stuff up. Matthew 2 and 1. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem.
Now it don't say how many wise men do it. It don't say 3, 5, 10. But then when you see the nativity scene, what they got? And then that's wrong too, ain't it? Because when they found Jesus, because you know I was watching a program dealing with the Bible history revealed and all this type of stuff. So you get all these so-called professors on there that's supposed to be professors in the Bible and all this stuff. Talking about, well, you got two accounts of Jesus' birth. You got the account with him being the shepherds there with him in the manger, and then you got an account with him being a child in the house. Now, you know, the Bible is wrong. No, you got two different time periods right there. You got Jesus when he was born in the manger, and then you got Jesus when he was a child in the house.
That's right.
And who found him in the manger? The shepherds did. Who found him in the house? The wise man did. So you're dealing with two different time periods. When Jesus was a baby in the manger, when Jesus was like a little boy in the house, like 2 years old or older in the house. But anyway, I'm telling you, boy, people just come up with all type of stuff. We had Matthew, you read that verse 1 again. Matthew 2 and 1, read that again.
Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem.
Now, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. Skip down to verse 13. Go ahead.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt.
Stop right there. Why are they going down into Egypt? If Jesus was the same color that we've been seeing betrayed all of these centuries, and they got so many different Jesus, you understand, like 400 of them, right? Depictions of him, but none of them are this color. But if he was white, like we see him depicted, then why did he send him into Egypt? He would have stood out like a sore thumb. Look, there he is right there. Get him. But no, he sent him because the Egyptians was black, Jesus was black, and so he sent him down to a black family among black people. That's why they sent them into, the Lord sent them into Egypt, because the Egyptians were black, and Jesus was black, and his family was black. Go ahead and read that again.
Verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt. And be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
Now Herod, he's going to seek to destroy this child. Go ahead and read.
When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt. And was there until the death of Herod. That it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son.
Skip down to verse 19. Verse 19, go ahead.
But when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in the dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and go into the land of Israel. For they are dead which sought the young child's life.
Now, so we got Herod, Jesus going down into Egypt, the Egyptians being black, and Jesus being black and his family black going down into Egypt. Now Herod died, he come back to Israel. Right? Now, let's go to Acts the 13th chapter. Acts 13. I'm sorry, Acts 21. Acts 21. Acts 21, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Acts 21 and 1. Let's get that coins ready. Just 1 second. No. Acts 21 and 1. 21 and 1. Let's get it ready though. Go ahead. Okay. 21 and 1. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that after we were gotten from them and had launched, we came with a straight course unto Cus, and the day following unto Rhodes, and from thence unto Patara.
Keep reading.
And finding a ship sailing over into Phoenicia, we went aboard and set forth. Now when we had to...
I'm sorry, that's supposed to be Acts 12 and 1. Acts 12 and 1. Yeah, Acts 12 and 1, sorry. Acts 12 and 1. When you get it, go ahead and read it. 12 and 1.
Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church.
So I just wanted you to see Herod. All right, now we're going to do a little reading about Herod. So we're going to go. Let's go to the coin. Let's go to the coin. I forgot the book on Herod too. So I guess I'm blowing a mission on this one. This is a coin of Herod right here, and he is like one of the only Herodians that had a depiction of his face on a coin. Now, these Herodians, these are Idumeans. Herod is an Idumean, right? He was in Israel at the time, but he was a puppet king set up by the Romans, which was an Idumean. Idumeans are who? Those, that's Greek for Edomites. And look what color the Herods were, because there were a long line of Herods, a dynasty, if you will. So now, this is Herod Agrippa I. This is Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, right? And this is coin from the reign of the Herod Agrippa I. Look look at their faces. This is in the 1st century. These are Idumeans, which are Edomites. And they look what? White. Everybody see that? They don't look black, like some brother trying to say, well, the Edomites look black too. Not during the 1st century, because these Edomites right here, these are Idumeans, which are Edomites, and these are from Herod, and he was there during the time of Jesus. So now, what you gonna do with this? What are you gonna do with that? Do he look black to y'all? He got white features. He's got the same features as the ones that call themselves Jews today. All right. Now, let's go to Acts. No, we're gonna read what is an Idumean. So we go into Zondervan's Bible Dictionary. What is an Idumean? And if you look up Herod, you'll see that he is an Idumean. But what is an Idumean?
Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. Idumea, pertaining to Edom.
Pertaining to who?
Pertaining to Edom.
Pertaining to Edom, which is who? The Edomites, Esau's children. Go ahead and read.
Greek and Roman name for Edom.
Greek and Roman name for Edom. You finished with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, so Idumea is the Greek and Roman name for Edom. Everybody understand? And we see that those Edomites during the 1st, and there was a whole line of Herods too, all the way from 37 BC all the way up to 92 AD. The Herodian dynasty. Go look it up and you'll see that these are Idumeans, puppets, kings of the Romans, which were in Israel or ruled over Jerusalem, ruled over the Israelites. Now, let's go quickly again and look at what color the Israelites were in the 1st century. Let's go to Acts, the 13th chapter. Acts 13. Let's see what color they were. Acts 13. Because we see clearly that these Idumeans, which are Edomites, they look white, don't they? Not black. Brothers say, well, you know, you had some black Idumeans in there, and then they could have got taken off into slavery too. You could be an Idumean. I'm like, You think those people didn't know who was who? And then we're going to show you that Edom was helping the Romans during the time of the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD. So you think the Romans going to take the Idumeans and, yeah, y'all help them, but we take y'all into slavery too. That don't even make sense. Acts 13:1. Go ahead and read that.
Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon that was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul.
He was brought up with who? Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul. Now, he said they were called Niger, didn't he? What does the word Niger mean? Gotta go in here and get it. What does the word Niger mean? It's simple. What does it mean?
Niger.
This from Altheimer's Bible Dictionary. This is a Latin word. What does it mean?
Black.
That's it. We done. This is Altheimer's Bible Dictionary. And Niger is Latin for black. So he said, now there were in a church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon that was called Niger. They were called black. So now you got the white or white-looking Herodians, right? And then you got the black Israelites right here, don't you? You think they didn't know who was who? Even during the times, like I said earlier, of the Egyptians, when the Egyptians had the Israelites in slavery, both of them was black. But they had the Israelites in slavery. You think they took some Egyptians? The Egyptians took their own people into slavery? No. They had the Israelites in slavery, which were black people. They know who was who. If you look now, over in Ethiopia, a people called the Phalashas. They are black people. They are from the tribe of Dan. They are black. But then you got the Ethiopians there. Everybody sure enough know they black. They blue black, aren't they? I ain't trying to talk about y'all. But anyway, but then you got two black people though. One is African and one is Israelite or Hebrew. Everybody understand? And they know who is who because they went over there in the 80s. The Edomites, Jews, went over there in the 80s during the time we are the world. They went over there and airlifted them out of there. And not only that, they airlifted them out of there twice. And there's still thousands more still there. But they know, my point is they know the Israelites from the Hamites. You see what I'm saying? Just like during the first century. They know who the Edomites were and they know who the Israelites were. So you got black people here in the first century in Israel called Niger, which means black. Everybody follow along. Let's go now. Let's go to Obadiah, the 6th chapter, the 6th verse. Obadiah. And we're going to pick it up at the 6th verse. Because Obadiah tells you what happened in 70 AD. And look at who was helping them. Remember, they conspired against Israel. Who was it? The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. They conspired. We're at Obadiah now. And we're going to pick up at the 6th verse. Go ahead and read.
How are the things of Esau searched out?
Uh-huh.
How are his hidden things sought up?
Go ahead.
All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee.
Because, you know, like on 132, 133 AD, after the children of Israel got taken out of the land, here comes some Edomites that stood up against the Romans in the land. Simon Bar Kokhba, right? He stood up against the Romans, but they were the ones that was in the land. Some Edomites stood up, Edomite Jews, and said, look, we're going to take the land. And the Romans like, no, y'all not. And it's like, yes, we are. And so they started a war with these Edomite Jews. The Romans did, and they crushed them around 135 AD. Right? They crushed them. And you ain't heard hide nor hair from the Herodian dynasty after that. You ain't heard hide nor hair from the Edomites from that time on. They start being called what? Jews. They start being called Jews. Now, let's go now. Let's go. We had our Obadiah. We picking up what verse you at?
Middle of 7.
Go ahead.
And prevailed against
Read verse
thee.
7 again.
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Uh-huh.
The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee.
Uh-huh.
They that eat thy bread have laid a wound unto thee. There is none understanding in him.
There's none understanding. He talking about Esau. There's none. That's why I say, when it comes to the Bible, that we got them beat. We got them beat. They don't even believe in Jesus. We can just leave it right there. They don't even believe in Jesus. Go ahead and read. Oh yeah, he's a Messiah that's coming. Some of them say, yeah, well, he's a Messiah that's coming. They never call his name. They just call him Messiah. And say, yeah, he's coming. He ain't been here, but he's coming. We understand that he's been here and he's coming again.
Right.
We understand this. Go ahead and read.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom,
Uh-huh.
and understanding out of the mount of Esau?
Now, do you see any light-skinned people calling themselves Edomites during that time? I mean, you at least see some depictions of them or something. Like we saw that Idumean right there, Herod. You should see some depictions of them. But you don't see no black people during the first century calling themselves Edomites. Because look, this is what happened during 70 AD. He said, shall I not in that day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? What did they do? Keep reading.
And thy mighty men, O T-man, shall be dismayed.
Go ahead.
To the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Go ahead.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Go ahead.
In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces.
In the day when the strangers carried away captive his forces. What did Esau do? Keep reading.
And foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem. Even thou wast as one of them.
Even thou was as one of them. So now wait a minute. You mean the Romans didn't understand who the Edomites was apart from the Israelites? When you had the Edomites helping the Romans to destroy Jerusalem? Come on, somebody, these people fit prophecy, don't they? The ones that people call Jews, they fit prophecy. You don't see no black people call themselves Edomites. They said, well, we was back there, our people was back there during the time of the first century when Jerusalem was destroyed. You don't see this, do you? But most assuredly we see that Esau was one of them. He helped the Romans destroy Jerusalem. We looking at it right here. Go ahead and read.
Verse 12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger.
Go ahead.
Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction.
Go ahead.
Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
Now this happened in 70 AD. And once Israel was taken out in 70 AD, Esau, he disappeared from geography. Now you tell me how a whole nation of people disappear. One go carried away in captivity, the other one, he just disappeared. Next thing you know, you got some people in Israel and Jerusalem calling themselves Jews. Come on, man. That don't even, Stevie Wonder can see this. You understand what I'm saying? Stevie Wonder can see this. Go ahead and read.
Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity.
Now look, they entered into the gates of Israel in Jerusalem at this time, helping the Romans. Go ahead and read.
Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
Nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Who has Israel's substance now? Is it the black Edomite, or is it the white Edomite Jew? It is the white Edomite Jew. He's the one that has Israel's substance. He's the one that had the towns and the writings and all of our substance. He has it now. Him and who? Ishmael. That's who's got our substance. But we're going to show you about Ishmael again. Because Ishmael is here in time prophecy. And then it couldn't be the ones that the dark-skinned or black Ishmaelite, because we see the Arabs over there, the white Arabs over there, they're the ones holding it down. But go ahead and read some more.
14. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee.
As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. And he got his punishment coming. What verse you stop at?
Middle of 15. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
Thy reward shall return upon, thine own head. And that's what's going to happen. When the Lord returns, and we're going to show you during Black History that he is going to be punished. And it ain't the one that called himself a black Edomite. You ain't going to see him being punished. Because he ain't holding down nothing. He ain't raising no Cain. If he do exist, where is he? Where is he? And all these years, 2,000 years, he should have reared his head up by now. So, because when the Lord returns, he going to punish me. I don't see him doing nothing to Israel. Not no black Edomite. I don't see him doing nothing to Israel. I see these people that call themselves Jews. They're the ones that did something to black people when it came to slavery. And that's hush-hush, but it ain't going to be hush-hush during the times of black history, though. Because we're going to show you. We're going to Jeremiah now. Let's go to Jeremiah 30 and 11. Jeremiah 30 and 11. Jeremiah 30 and 11. And look at what happened to Israel. And you tell me that one that's calling himself a Jew, did this happen to him? 30 and 11. Jeremiah. Go ahead and read it.
For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee.
Stop right there. He said, though I make a full end of all nations, where I have scattered thee. Now, has he made a full end of all nations? But he said, look, whether I have scattered thee, who got scattered? The children of Israel. They're the ones that got scattered. He said, for I am with thee. He's talking to the children of Israel. And don't think he don't know who we are. Because the Lord knows who we are. For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all. But don't get me wrong, no, all Israel ain't Israel. We looking at the Israelites that's got his word in their mouth. That's the Israelites we talking about. For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations,
whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee.
Go ahead.
But I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
Now, so he said, look, I will make a full end of all the nations, whether I have scattered thee. Who was scattered in all nations? And but those people that you call a Jew, were they scattered in all nations? You don't see that, do you? Let's go now. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 chapter. Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28, and we're just going to read 2 verses. And I know this is everybody's favorite chapter right here. Deuteronomy 28, and we're going to pick it up at verse 64. 28, 64. Make sure we know that the children of Israel were the ones that were scattered. 28, 64. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Now, so who was the ones that were scattered from one end of the earth to the other? It showed the one that called himself a Jew. And we know who he is. That is our twin brother Esau. Go ahead and read.
And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
You know that's us, don't you? We serve everybody else's God but ours. Look at tomorrow. Israel gonna be serving that pagan deity, that Christmas tree. Don't even realize that Christmas tree that you are setting up, it was a pagan deity. It's still a pagan deity. And you worshiping it. Well, I ain't worshiping, you bowing down to get them presents, ain't you? Go ahead and read. Look, he said, he's going to scatter them among the people from one end of the earth to the other. And there you shall serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known, wood and stone. And we have practically every religion, aren't we? That one that called himself a Jew, I was going to show you if I had brought my book, man, but I'll show you next time. That mainly the people that's in Judaism are the ones that call themselves Jews. You probably got a few sprinkle of people here, a few of other nations, but for the most part, it is the people who call themselves Jews. Now, take us, we in everybody's religion. And if you don't let us in, we will protest against you to serve that pagan deity you got. To serve them pagan idols. Skip down to verse 68. Let's see how he was going to scatter. 68, go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With ships. Into bondage. That's what Egypt represents, the house of bondage. He's going to bring you into bondage again with ships. When were those people brought over here on ships? In bondage now. I ain't talking about coming to Ellis Island and everything with their suitcase in their hand, their wife and their 2 children. I ain't talking about, I'm talking about in bondage though. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships,
by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Now who that happened to? That happened to us. We are the sons and daughters of Abraham, and we are the ones that's fulfilling prophecy. Just like you got Edom, he fulfilling prophecy. Just like you got Ishmael, he fulfilling prophecy. Let's go now, because I don't want to get too deep with this. Let's go now. Let's go to Genesis, the 39th chapter. And we're going to read one verse. Now look, this guy, Ishmael, and the Arabs, look at what he started off doing. All the way back here doing Genesis. Genesis 39:1. What does that say?
And Joseph was brought down to Egypt.
Uh-huh.
And Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, brought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites.
He did what?
Bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites.
Ishmael was selling slaves all the way during the time when Joseph first got down into Egypt. Ishmael, the Arabs, and they still have that practice going on today. They still dealing with slaves, even today. I just didn't put that in the lesson. And Joseph was brought down into Egypt, and Potiphar, and an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian. And then we can show you scriptures where Joseph and the children of Israel was mistaken for Egyptians. And we know that Egyptians are black people, don't we? But look, and it was the Egyptian guard took Joseph and sold him to, let me read it again. And Joseph was brought down into Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites. You see this? Ishmael trade slaves all the way back here. They selling slaves. Who you think? Well, you know what? I'm not going to really get off into that too tough. But we will show you doing Black History. And get our Black History DVD. That's why it's so important for you to get that Black History DVD. Because it's going to show you who were the main culprits of the slave trade. And that is Edom, the one that's calling himself a Jew. And that is Ishmael, the one that's calling himself an Arab right now. The main two culprits. Them the ones say, come on, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. And those are the same two that were the slave captors. I'm telling you, man, this prophecy is really something. And I'll tell you something else. Can't nobody stand against it. I don't care what you call yourself, Muslim, Islam, Kemetic, Moorish Americans, whatever you call yourself, you can't stand against prophecy. You can't stand against this Bible. That's why you always argue with the Israelites. Because you can't stand against this. So Joseph was sold by some Ishmaelites all the way back here in Genesis. Finish that.
Which had brought him down thither.
Now, let's go now. Because we're going to deal with it a little bit. Let's go to, because the Lord's word is not going to come back void. Let's go to Isaiah 55. His word is not